Good morning, friends. Hello, how are you? It's been a while. Haven't talked to you recently. Today, I want to talk about my best friend here, the Fuji X100VI, and really just like how this camera has changed my perspective on photography. I love this thing.
In the pale blue sky, floating on cloud nine. Do you feel the winds are turning round?
So let's jump right into it. First things first, my name is Ross. If you haven't subscribed already, I am primarily a video shooter. I do not consider myself a photographer. I don't do photography. I don't make money in photography. I make money selling video. And I run a video production business where we do a lot of commercial videography, a lot of wedding videography, just anything we can get our hands on. And that's kind of the reason why I love this camera so much. So if you're like me, or if you're in my perspective where you shoot a whole lot of video and you don't do photo at all, you would know that you do not have any photography workflows in your setup. That was always my struggle. Man, if I take 200 gigs of video, I can drop that into a Finder. I can organize those folders. I can drop it all into my editing software. I can whip together a video real quick, link all the audio, create a perfect polished production, and ship it off or have it for my own family. I know the flows when it comes to video. Ooh, that was a good rhyme. I know the flows when it comes to videos. Anyways, but my struggle always was, especially as a younger married guy with a kid now, with a family, I always wanted to take photos. And I have cameras that take very nice photos. I've got a Sony a7 IV, I've got like a 35 1.4 from Sigma. Like, these are all photography lenses. Like, I've got the gear. So the problem is I would bring a camera out and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take some photos today. Take 200 photos of my son, come back to the computer and just be absolutely overwhelmed by just raw photos in general, color workflows, culling through hundreds of images to try to find the best one. Okay, cool, you found an image. Now bring it into Photoshop and try to remove objects and things. It was so absolutely overwhelming to me because I didn't have the workflows and I didn't care to learn them that much because my passions are in video. And that's where I started looking into this camera about the time that it was announced, about the time that it was released. I've had some friends really kind of pitch me on the X100V, which was the predecessor before this, and I was always like, I'm not a Fuji guy, I'm a Sony guy. I just don't really know the workflows, don't really know the setups. And so finally, when this camera came out, I was like, you know what? Let me give it a try. Let me buy the thing, all right? Let me see what we got going on. So purchased it, finally came in, cool. Got it. I've fallen in love. Absolutely fallen in love. Because here's why. You take all of the anxiety I used to have of taking photos, all of the work that used to be of taking photos, all of the knowledge that I didn't have when it came to culling through images and taking the best photos and color corrections and raw images and raw processing, all of that, you take all that away and you just give yourself a quality JPEG directly out of camera, ready to post to social media, ready to print, ready to share. It just looks good and it transfers to your phone immediately, and that's it. And that is exactly what I've been doing with this camera for the past 8 months that I've owned it now. I have several different Fuji recipes, as they call them, that are pre-saved into this camera. And when I go to take a picture, I adjust my shutter speed for exposure, I adjust my ISO for exposure, and I adjust my white balance to make sure the white balance is popping, and boom, I take the photo. And then what I do with this camera, it's actually kind of hilarious, but like, hey, I don't mind admitting it. I'll go through and I'll delete on the actual camera, on the SD card. I've got a 128 gig SD card in here. I don't take raw photos, therefore I get thousands of images on this 128 gig SD card, and I'll go through and just delete the ones that I don't like right off the back of the camera, and then the rest, send directly to my smartphone over to my iPhone. It has made taking photos of my family, taking photos of my friends, taking photos at events, it has made taking photos fun again. And I don't mind admitting that. I know there's going to be a lot of photographers who are like, oh, lazy, you should use raw workflows and get your presets and your color LUTs and learn how to do it like a professional. See, I have no desire to be a professional photographer. I have a desire to take great photos of my family, and I have a desire to be a professional videographer like I already am, making great money doing that. So I have no desire to be a professional photographer. I want fantastic images, simply able to do it. And I want to remove all of the barriers from that process where I can go out and create and do some very fun things. And you would think, or at least I used to be in the mindset of, oh, well, if you're just taking JPEGs and you're color baking right in, then you'll never get great images. And that's wrong. Like, I've printed some pretty big photos from this. I pretty much exclusively use this camera when I go to take a photo. I daily carry both of these, which is my iPhone and my X100VI. I guess they kind of match. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that. But I daily carry both of these. And if I go to take a photo, say my son's doing something cool or we're doing something fun or we go somewhere fun, I'm going to pull this out of my pocket, boom, 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 take a couple pictures before I ever take this out of my pocket, slide to the left, bring up my camera app, and take a photo on my phone. It's just worth it. Yeah, sure, you got to carry this thing around, and yeah, sure, it's a little bit heavier than an iPhone, and yeah, sure, you got to take photos and then transfer them over, but like, man, it's worth it for the quality. It is so worth it for the quality. So since getting this camera in March of 2024, I've taken thousands of photos, thousands of different experiences, and all kinds of different trips and just time around the house and just memories that I will never get back, but I have a very high quality photo taken of those memories. So I think what I'm trying to explain in this video is just how much that this camera has changed my perspective on photography. As a video shooter, photography used to be a headache. Photography used to be a nightmare. Photography used to be oh crap, let me get the camera, let me take a bunch of photos, and let me go struggle with them in the computer and culling through them for the next forever, where I have a wife who wants to see the photos, or I have myself who even wants to see them and get them shared. It used to be such a struggle, such a not fun experience for me until this camera came along. So, a little word of encouragement. You don't have to be a professional photographer to take fantastically good photos. This Fuji X100VI has been just my best friend over the last year, and I have loved every single thing about it and every single thing about actually taking photos with it. And another funny thing, this camera apparently, allegedly, does great video. To be completely honest, I barely even know how to put it into video mode because it's not what I bought this camera for, and it's not what I'm going to use this camera for. I don't have time for that. If I'm going to take a video, I've got plenty of other video cameras ready to rumble. So basically, just an encouragement. If you're a video shooter like me who has a family, who has events that they really want to take photos at, that are just overwhelmed with the workflows of photography and aren't a photographer, don't really care to be a photographer, don't really have the workflows for it, man, just drop the bullet and get one of these cameras. They are fantastic. I don't have any affiliate links or anything for this, so just go out and buy one because it's fantastic. Anyways, my name is Ross. We talk about all things video on this channel, a lot of wedding videography tips, a lot of commercial videography tips, a lot of gear talks, a lot of gear reviews. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, hit me with a subscribe. We're on a mission here just to have a good time. I've learned a lot on this YouTube channel over the last year, and I just really enjoy the community that is created. So check it out. I'll see you guys on the next video.